Dave here. How are you? I'm hoping everyone's had a good week and looking forward to another hour of just hanging out with me while I muck around and have some fun in the shed. So this week we are continuing on building this table, and I'm looking around to see if I've got the brace. Give me a second, I'll have a quick look. Actually, I'm going to slide this down first because I always muck around with how things are happening. Matthew, you missed out. You missed out on the wood turning last week. All right, this is a segmented section of Jarrah. This is my smiley happy face. It's 4 pieces, all dominoed together and with the ends designed to hold 2 large slabs, which are going to be the legs for the table, and the top is this way. This is how it's going to go. That's flat because I'm going to domino it to the underside of the table, domino it into the legs, and it should come up nicely. Now, ordinarily, I would say, yeah, that's fine. This is 40mm thick Australian hardwood. This is Jarrah, all been put together with Techniglue. And I'm going to make it actually stronger. And people will say, you're an idiot. Well, I always overdo things. So the plan is to make another one, and we're going to bond it onto the side. But instead of just having the joins exactly in the same positions, I'm going to stagger them. And I've already got the pieces ready to go on there. Now once I've finished doing some domino work, which is what we're going to do on the show today, I'm going to glue the back of one of these onto here, and then glue the next one, pull it all together, and then clamp it all down nice and tight. And it's not going to go anywhere, I hope. And so then at the end of that, I'm thinking I wanted this to look really organic. Now, I will possibly even put a 3/4 inch radius cutter over the sides of both sides. And when it's got this extra thickness, this is going to be 80mm wide. That's going to really give it a nice round form. The legs as well, I'll do a similar thing with that. Give me a second, I'll put this back here. It's not going to go anywhere. Here's one of the legs. Now these are near 2 feet wide. They're 540, 550 odd wide. Piece of Jarrah in the middle, cypress pine either side. Now the reason I'm going to go with this style of leg instead of 4 conventional legs like normal and have, you know, a border all the way around is that these are the same timber. These are out of the same planks that I built the table from. So it's going to be a matter of me putting some dominoes across the top into the underside of the table and glue the whole thing together. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Now, I don't have to worry about expansion and contraction of the timber because the timber is all the same and it's all got the grain going the same direction. I don't have anything holding across like the timber. This leg is not going, oh Jesus, I'm waiting it. The leg is not going to be this way with the timber going that direction over the top in the table. That would cause me some grief. Now, if it all turns to mud and falls apart, well, not to worry. I can then take these legs off in a couple of years if there's a problem and rip them down, laminate them together, make, say, a couple of 4-inch by 4-inch legs, and then cut the brace right down the center, this arch thing, and use those on the sides in a conventional manner, and then make some more braces. But you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. Now the thing is, I don't know, I think I will do a 3/4 inch round over on the edges if I want this organic look in the support. Okay, now pop this back over here. So what are your thoughts on it? I think it'll be interesting. Rather than just going for something as conventional, this is almost like a waterfall table, but the waterfalls I pulled in and underneath. I think it'll be really nice. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, I'll let you know what's going to happen on the show, apart from that rabbiting on I just did then. James Finger sent some stuff in for me. He's built a clamping bench. And I put a link in the description box down the bottom. So if you have a look underneath this video, if you're on TV, you may not be able to see it. You might have to go to a mobile phone or whatever and click in the description box below. There's a few links there. James has got stuff there, and also a friend of mine is into cybersecurity. Something that might interest you at the moment with you know, all of the hacks that have been happening to people. People have had identity theft and all that kind of stuff. He's got some tips on how to avoid exposing yourself too much. So I have links down there as well, and I've put an actual link in there. Just click on it and away you go. But wait till after the show. All right, I'll bring you over to this camera and we'll do a little bit of domino work here. Before I do that, actually, I'll go to this camera above. I'll go to Carl Cam. It's good to see you back, Carl. I'm hoping you're feeling well. This one here. All right. Now, I have two pieces of this segmented section here waiting to be done. Actually, I've done these. It's a tight and this is loose. Remember last week I said that on the domino 500, there's a little spot here, which means it's a tight fit. And on here, it's a loose fit, and around here, it's a really loose fit. I'll bring it up a little bit closer so you can see those different markings. Now also, I haven't had this machine long. I purchased it secondhand. I know its history big time. My pleasure, Govinda. The Govinda's the cyber guy. Okay, so I've had this, I bought this off, actually I bought it from work. It was their ex-demonstrator, and I've used this thing more than anyone else at work, and it's 8 years old. I got it for a good price. So, you know, this is a nice machine. I couldn't walk away from it. It was offered, I bought it. Now, the thing is, when you're changing from loose to tight, you must have the machine running. Now, I was told that by some of the guys when I used it a few weeks ago. On the 700, you don't do that. You change it before you turn it on. Anyway, I have got it set to loose. I've numbered each one of these pieces out of 5, because there's 5 pieces in this segment. See, this one says 3 of 5, and you can see down here, when I get the light to shine on it, it says loose, and the other end says tight. So I've already done tight mortises there, and I've done loose mortises on that one. I've already done all these other ones. This one here, I've done tight on that end, and I haven't done any on this end. So that's what we'll do. This one says loose. Believe me, it says loose. All right, so I normally pop them in side by side, and this is the last of the ones. You'll notice it's a way different angle here. That's just waste at the moment. I will trim that off and make it correct. Put them there like that, and then just lock them down. I keep on telling people I love this bench to bits. It's just too easy. All right, domino. Let's just do it straight from there. So that one's tight, this one's loose. I'm going to make a little bit of noise, so if you want to turn down the sound, do it now. Whoop! I forgot to say the magic words. Now, if you've got a Google device around, it's going to tell you it doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. You ready? Hey Google, turn the battery charger on.
I didn't understand.
Oh, you didn't understand either, did you? This time. Okay, Google, turn the battery charger on.
Got it. Turning the battery charger on.
There we go. You're a good girl. Here we go. Loose. On this side. Beautiful. Now I'm going to turn it back on again because I want to switch it around to tight. Done. Okay. Hey Google, turn the charger off.
All right, turning off the battery charger.
Oh, you're so good. What a lovely assistant. All right, let's go back to this camera here. I enjoy having some fun. You may have noticed. All right, so there we have the mortises done straight away. And now we can basically start gluing. How cool is this? I'll move a few things out of the way because it's a large unit. And if things start getting in the way halfway through gluing, it's not a happy place to be. All right, where are we? The whole Stanton tribe in today. You think it's beautiful, lovely? What says? Put Domino 500 a job, and I can say it paid itself back in only one job. I can't go without it. They're an amazing thing. I love them. All right. Let me think. I'm wondering whether I'm going to do this on the bench or down on the table. I think I'm going to do it down on the table. So I may have to tip the cameras and things like that a little bit, but it'll be okay. This one out. I love this bench. It's just so easy to move it out of the way, throw it back up on another bench anywhere, and away you go. So this is the main one. And move this over here. And that up there. And coffee. All right. I'm wondering whether Cargill might be the best for just about all of this one. Get this, my camera adjuster. How's that? I think that's going to work all right. Okay, now these are all numbered. This is number 1, so it will go down here. This is number 2, it will go there. 3 will go in the center. See, this is the middle of the arch, and there's a join there. So by doing this over the top, it's going to really make it strong. It's going to be, whoop, I haven't changed the position. Actually, maybe I won't change the position at the moment. What do you reckon? Well, David, there you go. Just the best ones, eh? I think I'm going to leave it there for the moment. I think I will. All right, next thing. We need some glue. This is just an offcut of melamine. I find it's really good because there's no splinters or dust, picks up, and I don't want anything in there to foul joints at all. And I think I've got some gloves here. With these things, I keep on saying, don't blow in them because you'll throw in a whole lot of condensation from your breath and the glove will stick and you won't be able to pull it on properly. Next thing you'll have to be tearing it off and get cranky with it. There we go. Alrighty, screwdriver. Now this Technoglue is a 2-to-1 mix. I'm going to tip that camera down a little. There we go. Don't worry about Zoe's sign disappearing. She said, hey, Grandad, why don't you change the position of the sign every now and then? People have to guess where it is. That's a thought. All right, now I'm going to use a fair bit of glue, so I'm going to mix it up. I've got about an hour to play with the glue. So it's a 2-to-1 mix, so it's 2 resin. and there's a fair whack of resin there, to one. Let me just put that there like that. And I'm using another spatula. It's just some offcuts that I had lying around, nice and thin, of 1 unit of hardener. The good thing about Techniglue is it's got a gap filling capacity. It's pretty viscous. And one, about that. And it doesn't run, where a lot of the other stuff, resins, tend to run really quickly and bleed out all over the place. This doesn't. So for a lot of filling of knots, you can use this stuff as well. I do have a black pigment that they sell. This is West Systems. Sell this stuff, I think it's their product. Anyway, the black pigment will work okay with it. Try and use something that's not a water-based product. If you use a water-based product, you end up creating little problems for yourself, and you might get volcanic reactions. Let me put it that way. How's that? Tight bond. No. Phil, you can't use tight bond with Jarrah. I was told this by a furniture maker from Western Australia. Now the reason being, and it's an interesting thing, I did make, actually, the person that I got this Jarrah from is my brother-in-law, and he had a kitchen that was pulled out of his house, and the benchtop was totally Jarrah. So I made a dining room table for him. He came up here one day, we made the table, and we used Type 1-3. Now it hasn't fallen apart, but I was told by someone when I was building a furniture maker, as I said, when I was building my hand plane, remember the episode we did making the plane? He said, do not use any glue other than epoxy for Jarrah. And I said, well, why not? And he said, because Jarrah is grown in a very acidic soil, and the tree actually takes a lot of that acid on board and will burn, will melt, will eat out ordinary glue. Epoxy is not affected by acid. Now, I don't know, but he told me 10 years after making stuff with Jarrah, he had furniture coming back in the door and he was having to replace it. So he was having to pull it apart and rebuild it because all the joints were failing because of the glue. So I don't know. I use Type Bond all the time in everything else. But with Jarrah, I always use this. And this gives me a longer open time. So as I say, an hour. The longest open time you're going to get with Type 1-3 is 9 minutes. That's not enough. That's not enough. That's pretty cool. That's mixed. Basically, this stuff looks like araldite. Okay. First things first. I'm going to think for a second. I'm going to put that down and get a brush. And I'm going to put dominoes in the ends. Now that's loose, that's fine. I'll just put a bit of glue in there. A little bit more glue in there. And on the end. You might notice also on the video I did yesterday on how to use a strap clamp, a sexy way of doing it. The bristles coming out of that brush. On the points, it looked like the joint was open, but on purpose I didn't put any glue right out on the end like I just stuffed up and did there. Because when I had the strap going around the outside, I didn't want the strap to get glued to the actual project. But that's life. Jarrah, yeah. So this is all recycled. It's just so good that I was allowed to have the offcuts. The table we made looks really nice. Now, just a heads up, for not too far down the track, we're going to go into daylight saving time. I think it's the first weekend in October. So that, and that. So be aware, I will be on 1 hour earlier for a lot of people. The old saying, spring forward, fall backwards. So spring, as in the season, we're going into spring. We are in spring now anyway in Australia. And I can put that down there because I put glue on it. And in autumn, we'll be going back again. So this is tight. Do I have a mallet around here somewhere? I do, right there. One. Great little system, isn't it? There you go. There's the mortise and tenon joint straight away. Okay, now I'm going to put them, before I actually start gluing them down, I think the smart thing to do is to put glue on all of the joints that it says tight. I'm going to do it quicker like this. One, tight. Notice now I'm not going all the way up to the top. That one's going to go there. I'll do it all also on here. One of the other great things about having a laminate top, the Formica top on my bench here, is that nothing sticks to it. I can chip the epoxy off quite easily after the fact, and I can clean it off with terps while it's happening as well if I want to. I'm still careful, but you know, I don't have to panic about it. I don't have to worry about the glue running. That's another great thing about this stuff. It's just sitting there. Okay, so this one is loose. I'll put him over there. Which one is tight? This one's tight. Pop him there, get some dominoes over here. October 3rd. Morning, Cole. Have you all been watching what Cole's been doing on his new box? I love it. I love it. It's kind of a green and green look on the corners. The dovetails all protrude, which is great. It's a good look. Now I set the domino to 28 millimeters deep, even though these are 50 millimeter total length dominoes. So the machine I set to 28 so that there's no room for it to foul as you drive the domino in. Basically all these are as a non-rotating dowel. Tight. That's number 4. I'll put it down there. That one's got them in tight here as well. This is powering on. We're flying along. Once I've got these put together, we'll have a look at James's things, and then I'm going to explain a little bit more about what I'm going to do. But honestly, when Govinda got in touch with me and said, Dave, I'm starting a blog on cyber security, I thought, oh, I don't know if anyone's going to be interested. But then I thought, of course they are. Everyone, we live in a world that is full of nasty people. well, not full of nasty people. There's a lot of nasty people out there that just want to skin you for everything you've worked hard for. Changes on your birthday. I'm going to throw a couple of pictures up of what I've done. Remember last week we used the lathe for making some plugs for the finials on the studio. Well, I also did a lot of sanding over on the handrails on the studio as well while I was over there. Well, I had the scaffold up. I was doing all sorts of things. So I had the scaffold set up on the drive outside it, so I could sand all of the outside of the balusters and all that kind of stuff. And then it all got painted during the week as well, so that looks really nice now. Put some glue on these. And then we can start putting some glue underneath and putting it together, and then we start crying if it doesn't work. Yes, I've had identity theft twice, and it's not a nice experience. Not a nice experience at all. It's very time consuming. Anyone else? I'm sure. They say it's. They caught the guys. I was amazed, and I was also amazed to find out the people that get done for identity theft serve a longer jail term than drug dealers. Did you know that? It's a huge problem. So jump in, have a look at Govinder's site, and he's got some very good ideas on how to protect yourself. Those little things on Facebook, they're a bugger. So, you know, they'll say, put in your date of birth and that will tell you what's your rock and roll name or something like that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be sucked in. So 4 of 5. Let me have a look here. I'm going to now start putting glue over the whole thing. I'm going to lay these out so I know where they're going. That's 3, 2, 1, and that one and that one. So I have them all laid out. I'll go to CalCam now. I'm going to glue all of this, and just back there, let me see if I can tip this camera a little bit forward. There, that might work a little bit. I'll move the glue out of the way. We don't need that there. So you can see I have all the pieces here waiting to go. Try and organize yourself. Don't attempt something like this and start second guessing where everything is, because when you start putting things down on the glue, you're going to say, I really need to know what's going on. So this is 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 5 of 5, all labeled, and I know they'll all go together. All right, time to spread a bit of joy. Move that over there, because the brush is going to be too small for this part. Now I have sanded this only on the joins. These joins here, I sanded the epoxy off, and I did it with 40 grit paper. And I haven't sanded it any finer than that. I want to have as much of a key in as possible. Now on the end of this, or what should I say, when this is all dried, the glue is dried, this is going to be my pattern. So I shall take it over to the bandsaw, not today, but during the week, I'll take it over to the bandsaw and cut all of the parts that aren't nice and round off the part that I'm going to be gluing on here. Okay, that's done. That's easy, and I had a little bit left. We'll keep that to the side for the moment. All right, now I'm going to get rid of the gloves. The first one I want to put on is 3, and that's going to go like so. There. Now I have to have it there because this point and this point have to be over the arch, over the piece underneath. Everything here, all the stuff around the back here is going to be cut off. I'll get a clamp or 2. This is going to be the hardest part, getting these first 2 clamps on. That might sound strange, but it really will be. I may even just put 1 on. No, I'm going to go 2. 1. I'm going to switch the camera over in a second. There we go. There. Welcome back. Now, I need to do a few things. I need to just line that up, like so. That's good. And do a quick measure. Back from there to there is about 190, and there to there also about 190. I'm going to slowly tighten this up, because as you tighten, things tend to move around a little. Okay. Take a breath. Okay, the next one is going to go in, and we've got to slide. Remember, I've got this joint all glued and glued over here, and this is 2 of 5. We'll slide that one in. It's okay. And this one will also slide in. Come on. What's the story there? No story. There we go. It was just a little bit awkward going in slowly. Now I'm going to get another clamp. I'm not going to squish the clamp. I'm just going to use it as a support at this stage to hold up this end. And I'm going to do the same over the other end, so it doesn't go tippy-tippy. All right, this one is 4 of 5. In she goes. Oh, beautiful. And the last one. And a clamp to hold it up. Like so. Whoop, on the inside, because my strap clamp's got to go around yet. Cool. Okay. Fingers crossed. Some sort of scamming their lives. This has become very pervasive and dangerous. People's lives, examples, blah, blah, blah. Jake, great, Carl, have to be back with us. Carl, thanks, mate. Carl, met you at various shows. You guys keep on chatting, that's fine. Now, I'm going to get the strap, and it's not just a strap, it's just a ratchet strap. So I've got to grab that out of the garage. It's not a conventional clamp is what I meant to say. It's a ratchet strap that I use for holding things down on the trailer, and it works just fine. It's a little bit cold today. All right, so you've seen these things. I hold them together with these. Works great. All right, now I want the ratchet part around this side. So I need to have this around here, and then that's going to come across over to here. And then this is going to come into the ratchet itself. You just get these at the green store or where any hardware store basically sells them. Now, how am I going to hold those up there? I'm just going to have to do it manually. I'm going to hold it like so. I'm not long enough to do that. What can I do? I can put something under there. What have I got? Maybe looking around for something to support the strap right on the end, so I don't have to do any mucking around. There we go. That one's going to hold there. Perfect. It's just a box and a bit of wood on top. So now I can bring that across to here, around the outside, around the outside. Hook that on. It was easier when I had a piece of wood under it. I got to say, I didn't think this part through very well. Got an idea. Got an idea. Look. One. Two. That's going to hold the strap up perfectly. A couple on the other corner. No, I'm not going to use masking tape. I thought about that, Carl, and I decided against masking tape. Oh, you think masking tape to hold the strap in place? That would do it. Of course it would. I thought you meant put masking tape on the piece of wood underneath. And I did consider that, and I thought that could be a good idea, or it might kind of bring me undone. Let's put that there. Start pulling the strap up. That's going to do it. Got it. Next one up over the edge. I'm just keeping the tension all the way at the back here. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. Okay, I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. And the glue is starting to come up. Now this is where you might want to watch it at Carl Cam. All right, now see here, this is open. And that's okay. We're going to make sure they all close. And I'm not going to do it just by doing it by hand. I need a couple of these. I would like to have some more of those 300s, but I don't. So I'm going to save myself mucking around, I'll put the tall ones there, and then all they're doing is standing up to support. and take the 300s out. That'll work. Okay. Here we go. This is the real sexy part. Can you see what I'm doing here? Now, if I put enough pressure either side, we're having the clamp set down flat, I'm pulling on the point, it should close this up by trying to straighten that piece of timber out. Let's see what happens. That worked. And I'll do it here as well in a minute. I'm not going to be able to get in there close enough. If I tighten this up really tight, it might let me move this one. Yes, it will. Beautiful. I can now sneak that one out and this one in. And along a little bit to give me some room. I have to make sure also while I'm doing all of this that this is always going to cover what's underneath. Now this is the one that you'll see. There's quite a gap there. Now I want to pull it up. And use the strap. All right, I need to relax the strap a little bit and let it pull that closed. Oh. Got me. Rotten thing. Now, why isn't that going? A little bit of a tap on the inside might do it. Good. Okay, back it off and then tighten it up again. See the glue coming up? All good except for this end now. I need to work this end. Come on, don't go falling down. Got to give this one a bit of a tap as well. All right, and I haven't got a clamp on that one, that's why it's going. Get a clamp on here. I have one that's not playing ball. And you may have noticed when I released that ratchet strap, it got me. Take that off. See. It's going well. Going well. Come on, you can do it. Oh, I've got to do this one. There's 5 joints. Yesterday it was only, there's 4 joints, I should say. Yesterday it was only 3. So it's working against it. They're starting to come up now. there's some work in it. Getting there. Okay, this one needs a bit more pulling up. This one needs a bit more pulling up, which it's doing. That one, keep on tightening. Isn't it always the way? When you start doing it, showing people how to do it, it all of a sudden goes to mud. Okay. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something very easy to do, but it's just a little bit different. I'm going to back these two off. And I think when the tension's off those, it'll work. Well, that one didn't, did it? Not to worry. I'm going to back it off a fair way and see if I can just relax the whole thing. It's caught on there, it's caught on there. I know what's happened. It's caught on the straps, and that has made it pull the wrong direction. Now, whilst it might look as though everything's going everywhere, I think we're going to be okay. They're pulling together a whole lot better now. See that, that, and I'm going to get the other clamps on before I pull the ratchets up. What do you think? Clamps are binding the straps. Of course they are. So just pull that back. That one's good now. I can lock it. Pull this back. Pull this back. Like so. Good. Good, good, good. And you know the other thing, because I already have it pulled up, I'm just going to back that off a touch to there. That's good. Pull this one in. So at the moment I'm looking all the way around the edge to check that I don't have anything missing, like that I can't see the one below it. Excellent. All right. Okay, now we'll tighten that and tighten, tighten this one, tighten this one, and I may even pull this back a little. Ugh. The glue doesn't taste good, I'll tell you now, guys. Lock that one in position, and this one. Phil, I was thinking about that, but I'm going to be a bit cheeky, and because the bottom one is done so well, this one, I've pulled the dominoes up, so I really don't need to do any more. I just need to make sure that it's all held down which it is, and I'll check the joints as well, but I'm tightening everything up in position. It is a slippery affair. A stiff leg across the base of the arch so the straps can't pull together. Barry, I thought about that as well. I'm thinking that if I can get this on here now, that's going to hold that. Yeah, so this is my reasoning at the moment. I'm putting a clamp on Parra. That's just that little bit too tight. Along a little. So if I put some clamps on here, then what I can do, and that's going to pull the joints up in line where they've got to be. That's working well. That one's looking pretty good. That one. This one needs a little bit of work. Lucky I've got a couple, isn't it? And then I'm going to put the band clamp on after. And I'm going to have a fair bit more control on tightening. The band clamp is still sitting there, so I haven't taken it off. One more here. Good. Good. All right. Now the band clamp. Now the timber's thick enough to be able to allow me to get the clamp on the top and then put the strap clamp, or this guy, whatever you want to call it, around underneath. We'll do a little bit of slow tensioning. That's good. That's good. That's good. And we are perfect on the piece of timber underneath. That one, I can release this one now a little bit because I'm open a little bit there. So as I relax that, see the joint just pulling nicely. Oh, that's beautiful. A little bit more tension on this guy. One more. And that's pulling it up nicely. Got it. This one, tighten him. Good. 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 All right. I'm going to use the piece of wood that I used to clean the joints off. And we'll have a look. I'm good with that one. Good with that one. Good with that one. And good with that one. Excellent. It was like a puncture wound, that. I don't know if you can see it, but it went straight. The part of the ratchet clamp just went straight into my thumb. Pinched it. That was a little painful. I'm going to back that off ever so slightly. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it alone. Now, I can tighten all of these so that they're all pulling down nicely. Yep. Switch cameras. It's called keeping it real. This is how it happens, and you know that I'm not telling you any lies. This is definitely how it happens in everybody's workshop. You'll go in with an idea, and sometimes it'll work brilliantly, and sometimes it'll create a little bit of a headache, but we're going to beat it. Not a problem at all. I'm happy with these joints. The next thing I want to do is get some more clamps here, here, there, and there. The reason being, I want to pull it down tight. I'm going to put them on the opposing side, on the outside. Workers' comp. No, it doesn't worry me like that. That's one of the great things about having the Technoglue, is that I have plenty of open time. If this was Type Bond, I would have been in tears by now because I would have lost it. The glue would have gone off, end of story. I would have had to smash the whole thing apart. Little to no blood on the thumb. Well, I keep cleaning it off, Carl. It keeps coming. The claret's still coming. I got a little rag under here. There, nice and clean again. All right, so this one under here. Tighten that up. Yes. And that's good. Another one or two. Another one there. The main thing, as I was saying, is I want to make sure that I can't see any of the section underneath. Don't tell me that's got a thicker head. Come on. Come on. Can't have that. The new style of clamp. Oh, it might be a Revo. Yep, I think it's a Revo. Some of the clamps have got a thicker head on them, and I didn't really want that happening. Good. That's pulling that down. I need to have a look underneath. Good. Oh, this is going to be so nice. That's a fair span over there. What's happening over on this side? It's missing it. Good. I was starting to panic. It's a little bit proud on this side. No, it's all good. It's all good. As I say, the main thing is that this covers all of this one underneath, because that one underneath there is going to be the pattern. That's pretty cool. How are we doing for time? We need to have a look at James's thing. Let's do that. All right. No blood on the ceiling, no compo clamp. The horizontal clamps on the joint work better than I would have thought. They work really well. There are pinch clamps that you could use, but the thing is, if you use those, they, I'm going to back that one off a touch. The pinch clamps leave holes everywhere. Now, I'm going to watch this during the Patreon show, but in the meantime, we're going to have a quick look at what James is doing. And he sent some photos in to me. Okay, this is James's clamping table. I'll grab the sheet and I can have a quick read. G'day Dave, just wrapped up my new clamping bench with the Craig vise and clamp track. So this is the Craig vise that goes on the side. And you can see more of his table there. He's got the heavy duty track in there as well, rebaited in. Came out pretty darn well considering it's all made from bed slats and an IKEA desk I found on the side of the road. So this is melamine that he's made it out of. And you can see in the corner there, the clamps slide along in the track, and also there's little spaces in there, so it keeps things nice and square. And he can use his other things. I think that's a crosscut jig for a circular saw. And another view from the end. He's got a few dog holes down the middle, and they're all 3/4 inch, not 20 millimeters. And on wheels, so you can wheel it around, put it in the corner when the car has to come back into the garage. There you go. And also, I've got the photo that I said where we've been working on the studio, and it's coming up really nice. So I took a shot. This is where I used the lathe last week to turn the plugs to go into the finials that I put on the side of the building. So this is just from one elevation. Where are we? There you go. That's come up quite nicely. The sanders were just brilliant. Did a magic job. And then got it all painted. Looking good. All right. Back here again. Okay, so if you enjoy what I'm doing, my crazy time with clamps and glue and what have you, subscribe to the channel. And I just need to tighten that one up a little bit more. I have control. I can just watch what's happening. This is great. I love it. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. Keep on coming back. Patreon meeting on in a couple of minutes after I close the show. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. Thank you so much to all of my patrons. And I think that's it. See you next week. Bye.